Socializing retail stores. Now this is thoughtful. Hello, I'm Trevor Lai in Shanghai. Smart retailers in China and around the world are finding innovative ways to incorporate technology in this booming retail environment, partly to learn more about consumers and their in-store behavior. At the same time, there are opportunities to use technology to make in-store shopping a more social experience that many consumers crave, especially for luxury brands. This week on Thoughtful China, we'll hear from experts Mike Cho, Emmanuel Paget, and Howard Smith about both ways technology can be used in retailing to provide brands with valuable information about how consumers shop and how to improve the retail experience. But first, with us is Scott Amyx, founder and CEO of Amyx McKinsey in the US, to share a global perspective about retail trends. Scott, welcome to our studio.
Thank you, Trevor. It's a pleasure to be here.
There must be technological innovations you've seen used overseas that you think could be adopted to China. Are there some examples that you can think of?
Well, what I specialize in and what Amyx and McKinsey stand for is really around wearable strategy and innovation, as well as the actual implementation of those strategies. So what we see is on the near horizon, if not immediate, are actually implementation and the integration of wearable technology. And there's several dimensions that I want to talk about. One is around the experience side. So this could be in the form of live events, cultural events. So for example, I spent some time in Korea for about 3 months this summer, where they're really heavy into that. So everything from concerts, parties, to water gun festivals, to mudslide festivals. There's an opportunity where you can actually infuse wearables to create an exciting and engaging experience for these live events. That's one dimension. The other dimension is that the retail context is very powerful, because we're just starting to see some of the implementations, but it's going to become actually fairly ubiquitous very quickly. Everything from in-store camera technology like Retail Next, that's trying to map the flow of customer traffic, and optimization of visual merchandising, as well as theft management, to things like facial expression detection, so that if you're a retailer, you want to be able to determine if that person, as they move from display to product and display, how are they feeling about that particular product or that section or that collection, as well as the interface or the interaction with the customer service associates. And being able to understand emotions is a very powerful thing in terms of how to optimize and tune that retail experience.
Do you think up to this point, that, especially the facial sort of detection technology, it sounds fascinating and a little bit scary at the same time, with consumers and their perhaps hesitation to allow such an integration of commerce and their personal lives. We, of course, have heard a lot of, concerns about if I'm wearing something that monitors my heart rate and monitors a lot of my, perhaps personal information, how do I know that's safe? How do you deal with that? Because wearables are such a core part of your business and your strategic consulting. How do you control that, since the device and hardware is really something that is out of your control?
Yeah, so the key philosophy that you have to start from is the point of transparency and an authenticity. So, whether you're a retailer or a concert organizer or a brand that's initiating a campaign, it's really important to articulate exactly what you're doing and make sure that it's done in a way that it's understandable. So for example, H&M and many other stores like that, when you actually go into a store, if you want free Wi-Fi to be able to utilize within that store, you're basically opting into a particular experience, including tracking of your movement, proximity, and this I will get into beacon technology in just a second, as well as facial recognition and other interactivity. So you're basically giving an expressive authorization and permission to say, yes, I want to be part of this experimentation, this interaction.
And so talk about beacon technology a little bit.
Beacon technology is becoming very popular. We're actually starting to see it all over, from UK to America to overseas in the Asia Pacific as well. And beacon technology, first and foremost, is not a solution that fits all per se, because what it's doing is, based on your distance, it basically activates or deactivates an application. Now, the way it's being used in the retail context is that it's trying to figure out, based on who you are and the proximity to a particular product and your interest level, it's actually giving a couple of information. One is promotional offers, if in fact there's something associated with that product, or in some cases it could be product information and social media information. This is a very powerful thing for China, is the fact that endorsement or recommendation by friends and family is so important. So if they picked up a piece of shirt, for instance, if they could figure out immediately who in their social network liked this, that basically almost kind of sells itself in a way. And there's a lot of interactivity that's working in conjunction with Beacon. So for example, one retailer is experimenting with hangers. So when you basically take off that hanger, there is a monitor or screen that shows a model wearing that apparel, so you can actually see it. In other cases, there's actual metrics, Facebook or Weibo metrics that shows how many people actually like this piece of clothing or item.
Including those from your own social network?
Yes, absolutely.
So in another sense, Beacon would also be able to activate, as you mentioned earlier, a app that perhaps you've actually haven't opened yourself. It would trigger the app to open itself.
Yeah, generally the Beacon technology within a retail context is going to be specific to that brand. So you're not going to be activating multiple applications because you want to have a cohesive, seamless experience. But again, ultimately what you're trying to do is you want to empower and equip the consumer to be able to have the right set of information, including metrics around who saw this, who liked it, what are some other photos, what are some complementary outfits or things that could go with it, so that you can actually make decisions efficiently. Now, one of the things I heard yesterday, as a matter of fact, and this is from e-commerce, Titan in China, is that when they went from internet shopping to mobile, one of the things that they noticed was there was a tremendous higher velocity of conversion in terms of actual sale. Why? Because it's kind of the Costco model. And maybe China's not as familiar with the warehousing shopping model, but when you basically reduce your choice, it actually allows for efficiency in decision making. So mobile, by the sheer form factor and the real estate limitation, you're basically shrinking down the choices. Basically what you've done is, instead of having somebody look at the internet and the web page, browse through and compare and compare and compare endlessly, you make a decision quickly and come to that conclusion fast, which then translates into higher sales volume for retailers and e-commerce.
Scott, thanks for being on Thoughtful China.
Thank you.